Hello, my name's Tony Kingham, and today I'm talking to Stephanie Okimoto, Director of International Programmes, and Jamie Johnson, Acting Principal Director of the Office of Science and Engineering, both with the US Department of Homeland Security, Science and Technology Directorate. And we will be talking about some of their international technology programs. Stephanie and Jamie, hello and welcome.
Hi, Tony. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, likewise. Good to be here.
Okay, so let's jump in straight away with my first question. What's the history of the DHS S&T collaboration with international partner organisations? And I will let you decide who's going to answer that.
Jamie, I'll jump in on that one.
Sure.
Homeland Security is much more of an international effort than I think a lot of people realize. The activities essential to be able to secure the United States, they're not limited to the United States. The cause and effects extend well beyond our borders, and we like to say there are no borders to good ideas. So to be able to further DHS's international mission, Congress gave the Science and Technology Directorate the authority to develop international programs, and that was given to us in 2007. But even before that, the department had been creating partnerships around science. I think we all realize that R&D, science and technology, that's what's going to help us stay ahead of evolving threats. So we started in the early days with partnerships with United Kingdom and Canada. Those are two of the US's closest and longest allies, and then soon followed with Israel, Singapore, Australia. Now we have over 21 different countries that we work with, and we also do a lot of multilateral work with countries like NATO and the European Commission.
Okay, I could add and jump in. I think
yes, please do.
I think even the last year, in the midst of COVID, which I know we'll get to, I think it's shown us more than ever before that DHS and our foreign government counterparts, sharing these problems, sharing these shared operations and collaborations. I think it just highlights the importance of why we have an international office under Stephanie and having the need to take that partnership and collaborative approach.
Okay, thank you. Okay, typically what type of organisations do you work with and on what basis?
Maybe I can start with that one,
yes,
Stephanie.
Please do.
So I think it's important to kind of take a step back and look at what is the mission of DHS, and that is to protect our homeland and people from man-made or natural disasters, threats that occur within our borders. And this is a wide mission within DHS that we face. And we look at our customs and borders, transportation security, immigration, cybersecurity, and so we have a very wide-ranging mission. And within science and technology, our role is to provide scientific capabilities to advise and form these missions from research, science, and all the capabilities that we provide to helping the border patrol person, the TSA person at the airport, the first responder. So here's a very, very wide-ranging mission. The other thing that people tend to forget is that DHS, we are the science advisor to the department and Homeland Security and even beyond with the first responder community. So our role in that science advisor is also to provide cross-cutting research, foundational research, both short-term and long-term, so that can be leveraged to provide solutions to some of these emerging challenges and needs.
Yeah, thanks, Jamie. So I think within that context, when we're looking for international partners, we're really working with primarily foreign government agencies that have that same kind of mission, objectives, roles, and responsibilities. So that's agencies like the Home Office in the UK, the Israeli Ministry for Public Security. We work with the Dutch Ministry of Security, Swedish MSB. So that's where we're working on those solutions for that broad mission set that Jamie was talking about. But to be able to have that big picture of the scientific community and be able to play that scientific advisory role, I think that's where we really lean on our multilateral relationships. So within that, we have a couple different organizations or forums that we've created. One is called the Five Research and Development Council. That's a partnership between us and the Five Eyes countries. That's UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. We bring together and coordinate our science. We have some tech foresighting capabilities. We're always trying to basically keep our collective tech radar on. We have something called the International Forum to Advance First Responders Innovation. It's a bit of a mouthful. It's the IFOFRI Forum. That's about 15 different countries, and its whole goal is to try to work with industry. And then, of course, we work through more traditional or established groups like the European Commission and the NATO. Within NATO, a program that we work on a lot is called the Science for Peace and Security program. So it's one that's specifically focused on those homeland challenges, but it allows us to really work together to raise the global capability development, not just of the members, but also partner countries.
Okay, thank you. One of the questions that I'm asked frequently is how much work do you do with international private technology companies? On what basis?
Maybe I can start with that one.
Yes, please do.
Maybe just to give some context, Stephanie's been talking about her office overseas cooperation with the foreign governments, but tying it back to the private sector. We also have some other offices within science and technology that foster those collaborations with industry. We have an Office of Industry Partnerships that is solely focused on communicating our needs with industry, what is industry doing, what we can leverage. We also have an Office of Technology Scouting within science and technology that looks at the global industry of what's going on out there, what technologies are out there that are working, what research is going on that can be leveraged. And the whole intent here is for us to minimize the duplication of investments and maximize what we can utilize out there, particularly with our foreign partners. And so what this does is these relationships allows us to make strategic investments in research and development to solve some of these challenges that we face. And I think Stephanie has some examples.
Yeah, I can give a couple of specific examples of how basically S&T we work in a matrix environment that Jamie just described. So we bring all those different offices and perspectives together. Two that we've got going on right now. One is with the Israeli government. It's called the Binational Cooperative Program. We do that with an organization called the Binational Industrial Research and Development Foundation. And
another good name.
Pardon?
Nothing. Another good name.
Right. It's called BIRD. Is the short. Is the we like acronyms. Yes. So with that one is where we're really trying to tap into the U.S. and Israeli industry base and bring companies together around really the whole spectrum of our Homeland Security challenge mission space. With the United Kingdom, we've been working for 10 years. We do a joint call with them every couple years it's called the Innovative Research Call, the IRC. And that one is specifically targeted on explosive detection systems and other types of contraband, for public venues, the traveling spaces, aviation, things like that. And over the last 10 years, we've helped to find solutions that expedite screening. We've improved checked baggage and some of the underlying technology behind it. Some of the bottle scanners that you see out in European airports. That all started through collaboration with the United Kingdom on those types of programs.
Okay, but it's always government first. It's government first, or do you ever deal directly with industry? If industry put forward some sort of technology to you?
We do, and S&T, and Jamie can talk a little bit about this, has lots of broad area announcements where we're constantly soliciting out to the broad.
I see them and I share them.
Exactly. That first multilateral organization I talked about, IFOFRI, that one is specifically designed around trying to engage industry. We're trying to we start with a set of requirements that all those, it's 15 different countries. We're trying to pull together what the needs are so that when we go and talk to industry and say, this is what we need, it's not just from the US perspective, but it really helps our industry and our industrial base understand that there's a global market for these technologies. So yeah, we're really working hand in hand with industry to spur that innovation.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. And I think, we do make every effort to leverage industry first. And as Stephanie said, we work collaboratively to bring those requirements and challenges and needs to industry. But where we can, we have to leverage the capabilities and technologies of industry. We often call that commercial first. What they have available, what's commercially available, and do what we can to leverage that.
Okay, thank you. Right, what projects do you currently have going on?
I'll take that one, Jamie. So, on that the government collaboration that I was describing, we have a lot going on. We cover the full breadth. I would say about around half of our projects fall within the counterterrorism mission. So that's traditional things like chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, and explosives, trying to do research to understand those threats and share knowledge with our foreign counterparts. But we also are looking at emerging threats, like domestic terrorism. We do a lot of work. We have some efforts on aviation security, resiliency, and within resiliency, we include cybersecurity. So a lot of work on that. Each one of our partnerships or activities, we're trying to pull it all together and really complement the overall work that S&T is trying to do for the department and beyond our Homeland Security, really that entire enterprise. One thing about our projects is that they all have to be mutually beneficial. That means both the US and our foreign counterparts, we're both contributing to them, but we're also benefiting from them. So it's really exciting to watch how we can find a solution in one part of the world and be able to bring it back, or similarly find something in our laboratories, discover something in our laboratories, and share that with our foreign counterparts.
Okay. So on that note, what are your most successful collaborations?
Well, if I can maybe jump in on that, I think to build off of what Stephanie said in terms of the successful collaboration, you were talking about some of the projects and some of the joint development of technology. That's a piece. I should say probably a bigger piece of what we do is actually just sharing knowledge, sharing data, exchanging research data from our laboratories, expertise, gaining access to different laboratories. We might not have a certain capability in the US, but they have it in the UK or other places. So trying to have these networks of information sharing and collaboration is really vital, particularly as we know, the threat is ever changing, ever evolving. And I think having those networks in place helps us to stay in front of that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
It's really, oh, I'm sorry, were you gonna ask something else?
No. Well, I was, but go ahead.
I just think it's really, I think S&T is really successful when we're able to really tap into our foreign government counterparts, their experiences and their expertise. So, what I'm talking about is working with the Dutch on things like flood predictive analysis and modeling, working with the Australians on wildlife fire and urban rescue, working with the Israelis on bomb detection, and I'm really particularly proud of our relationship with Canada. And I know a lot of the work we do with them actually falls in Jamie's shop. We've done a lot of exciting things around first responder tools, artificial intelligence, speech recognition, but this massive border, we have integrated operations, integrated missions. And so being able to do a lot of field trials, we do a lot of operational experiments with them. That's really where we're able to bring together different jurisdictions. And I think that's a big piece of resiliency, is being able to look at all of these pieces very, very early in research and development, because that's what's really going to get us further ahead when we get into the operational mission. And I know
I think that I can add one more example to that. We don't think about how we support operations in terms of acquisition. And so like we have, we in DHS S&T have been supporting our Coast Guard. They have what they call a next generation of polar icebreakers and providing what we call acquisition decision support. They're providing that technical and scientific expertise to inform the Coast Guard as they procure and build these ships. And that was done in terms of like in partnership with our friends in Canada as well. So it's a very wide-ranging set of capabilities that we provide.
Okay, thank you. Right, well, I'm going to have to ask the question because it's unavoidable. What collaborative work have you done on COVID?
So, a lot, and you know, global crises like COVID-19, they really underscore why international collaboration is so important. And for us, we had to look at it, the department had to look at it from, you know, that perspective of both science and policy and operation. We needed to be able to bring together government and scientific institutions. And so we did a lot of that through that 5 Research and Development Council that I talked about earlier. We were able to rapidly share information about the threat. We actually exchanged strains with some of our counterparts, looking at, you know, what are the characteristics? How can we protect our first responders? How can we implement the best decontamination methods for them? And really what it enabled us to do was bring this, you know, more of a scientific consistency around it so that we were able to provide information to our department and the White House. At the same time, our colleagues in the UK were providing that very science-driven support and guidance to, you know, the Prime Minister and COBRA meetings and things like that. So that was very exciting to watch and be a part of.
Yeah. I would say, to build on that, I mean, COVID is a great reminder of why we need to collaborate. We talk about even the COVID exchanging research collaborations between even the UK and the US, but that's just an example. Even if we look at the past bio threat from anthrax to Ebola to COVID, I mean, like I said, we have to stay ahead of that threat, and these collaborations are really important. And so, information exchange is something we want to continue to do as part of that. And you know, we've had different forums. My subject matter experts have partnered with other subject matter experts. I think Stephanie referenced some things like we work with the Dubai police in the UK to share some of the advanced technology that we were using during COVID. So we had some folks from our technology scouting team participate in that. So these collaborations, I think, only strengthen our ability to prepare for and respond to these types of threats when they actually do occur.
Okay, thank you. And the big question for all of our industry viewers out there: what technologies are you looking for to collaborate on in the future? Where do you see the gaps? Where do you see the threats? What are you looking at?
Well, S&T just released a new strategic plan, and it actually prioritizes international partnerships, that scientific community that Jamie and I have been talking about. And it's really in these sort of future emerging areas like climate change, countering domestic terrorism, extremism, disinformation, the biological threats that we were just talking about, and how can we collaborate on public health responses to potential future outbreaks. We're interested in the full spectrum, from climate security, mobility and access, things to address flooding, wildfires, blackouts, cyber threats. I think, like Jamie was saying, the threats are moving so quickly that the U.S. government researchers are really having to think differently about operations and the role that partnerships, both international and industry, are going to play in building that safer future.
And I can build on that too. I mean, one of the things we do in S&T, we try to make sure we're also positioning ourselves to meet the needs of our customers. We have, like I said, a wide-ranging set of customers. We call them our components, and trying to making sure we make the investments to help them with what they need, whether it's an improved sensor or held hand devices, or improved artificial intelligence, machine learning, and how do we improve our critical infrastructure, our security posture? So we have an enterprise need that we actually are trying to make sure we actually meet going forward. So I think in partnering, I think really helps us be in a better position to meet those needs of our components. And particularly, even if we look at other areas like cybersecurity, that is obviously an international challenge that all of us face in cyber analytics and data analytics. So the list goes on and on. So again, we try to be strategic in both how we make our investments in our short-term research and both our longer-term forward-looking research that Stephanie was talking about.
Okay, thank you. Right, now where if people are looking for information on what you're doing, where will they find it?
Well, we have a lot of different sources. If you go to obviously the internet on our pages at S&T, you'll find links to those BAAs that we were talking about. You can find more about the International First Responder Forum that I described. And from there, really just a ton of resources, both on those opportunities, but also we do a lot to publish out the results of our research so that people can get access to these findings and be able to implement them into their security considerations.
Okay, Jamie, anything to add before I say?
It's been a joy to be here and talk, and I would just want to reiterate a few things that Stephanie said in terms of what you're asking about. We have a new administration, and some of the things we talked about in terms of priorities, climate change, how did that impact our Homeland Security mission? We talked about resilience, threat characterization. So these are all publicly talked about and available. So we are currently aligning our research portfolio to make sure we're addressing our administration needs.
Okay. Well, once again, I'd like to thank you both for sharing your valuable time with us today. As has been said, you can go to the website. We obviously publish a lot of material from the Directorate, and I'd just like to thank you again for your time. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day and say goodbye.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.